Donald Trump Jr. is running for president, bud.
I don't think so.
He's on the Mike Gallagher show on the way here.
Hmm.
He's running.
Against his dad? So I grew up with this guy.
His dad and his sister, dude.
You don't want him as a president. You know, everybody was upset when he was in. I'm better.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Mike Gallagher, bud, he doesn't hold back on his questioning.
Yeah. What'd you eat for lunch today?
I didn't know that Donald, because it gets confusing. Welcome to the OK Taco Show, everybody. My name is Conrad and Shannon.
Hi.
It gets confusing about marriages and divorces.
Yeah.
But apparently Donald Trump
J.
Jr.'s
Junior.
DTJ. His mom was the one that died, fell down the stairs recently and died. She was trying to give herself a abortion or something, and
Pedicure.
remember when abortion got outlawed?
Yeah.
Then the next day, the first wife
Oh.
fell down the stairs and died.
I watched that documentary. It's called Staircase.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got Michael Keaton in it.
Yeah, it does.
But when Mike Gallagher's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry about your mom," I didn't even put two and two together that DTJ
Was
had
from a different-
had a mom.
Oh.
You know, that I figured that could have been from 7 marriages ago.
Ivanka.
Hey, stop eating.
Quit it.
Ant bait. But
Dog slowly poisoning herself.
But when somebody, okay, so, and it's sad, but it's going to happen to all of us, if we're lucky, I guess. That, you know, the reason you want your kids to outlive you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the idea in
Yeah.
life, I think. And so
Some aren't so lucky.
some aren't. A lot of times they're not, you dude. And so she died, and so the kids outlived her, so she's happy, maybe. Because that was what she lived to be 80. You know, she had a good life.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they ask, like, "Hey, sorry about your mom," it just happened a few weeks ago. Like, what's the response? I mean, how do you respond to that? Somebody bringing it up. What's an appropriate response?
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Or
That's
maybe
it.
like, "It's a tough time, but thank you. We're getting through it." Maybe that.
Or
But being like,
that's
yeah,
not my mom.
well,
I mean, it was my mom, but it wasn't.
she's a one-of-a-kind gal.
Yeah.
That's what he said. They don't make them like that
They used
anymore.
to. No, well, that's true. When I think of other broads that are in their 80s, I think of my mom.
Yeah,
My mom.
right. And my mom.
She's not 80.
She's getting
So-
up there, bud. She's aging because she's in politics now.
Well, more gray hair.
Yeah.
But
She's getting up there.
they make dye for that. You know? They make hair dye for women.
Well, that stuff just makes your hair fall out, buddy.
If you do it a lot, yeah. All these people that are running around dyeing their hair several colors, they're going to be sad when they hit 50. You know? And maybe they don't plan on living that long,
Yeah.
but all their hair is going to fall out, dude. And I mean, I feel really bad. I know I think
It's a
it's,
fashion statement.
yeah, but I think it's from Big Pharma. You know, I think Big Pharma owns a lot of the dyes. And so they're saying, hey, be an ally. And, you know, that way, it used to be pins, you know, like the safety pins and stuff,
Right.
which I thought was a great idea because you can buy them in different sizes.
Are you talking about for your clothing?
No, to be an ally to the less fortunate.
Okay.
All of the less fortunate, the downtrodden, is you put a safety pin on your lapel or somewhere on your clothing. You can even get a tattoo of a safety pin, and that tells other people that you are an ally. But that wasn't good enough. And so now all you got these ladies, mostly ladies, some guys,
Mostly.
but most of the ladies out there dyeing their hair, and they fell for it. And that's what I feel bad about. They fell for it because Big Pharma said dye your hair to show that you're an ally of the downtrodden, which I love the message. But can we do something different? And I don't mind. I think they look fine.
Is it an ally of the downtrodden?
Yeah.
Or just the people? Like, who do
Well,
they consider
Okay,
downtrodden?
well, with downtrodden would be your LGBT plus community.
Right.
And I think I said that right.
You did.
And then your gay community, just a regular gay community, which is part of the LGBT.
But it's its own thing.
It's its
but
own
it's also
thing.
part of it.
But it's also part of it, and the like BLM and all of the all the groups that are fighting for equality, basically.
So it's not about financially downtrodden necessarily. It
Well,
just means culturally
It's
downtrodden.
part of it. I mean, some of it definitely could be because
well, there can be poor people in those communities.
Listen, if you're transgendered and you're going for manager at, let's say, an Arby's,
sure.
Something like that, you might not get it because you're transgender. That's what they're talking about.
So dye your hair in support
of them and show them
their job interview or of their
life. And so that way you could say, hey, guess what? I support you.
Without having
so
to
you
say
can
it
talk to me
about your life, about
that.
about
anything.
not getting accepted or about anything.
Here's the deal. You become a walking, talking, safe space, and especially when COVID was going on, which it still is, by the way.
Yeah.
Put your mask up, everybody. You get 6 foot around you becomes a safe space
Yeah,
for you, for anyone of the downtrodden. But that's not my point. My point is I think they got tricked into dyeing their hair to stand out more, to show as a beacon, a lighthouse, if you will, a lighthouse, safe house / safe house of the downtrodden. And I think that their hair is all going to fall out because they're dyeing it so much. Now, I have no problem. I think it's actually kind of cute. You get some little lady that's got some tattoos, that's got a good-looking figure and a nice face, and she decides that she wants to dye her hair blue or fire engine red to show that she's an ally.
See,
But when you become my age,
they all do it for ally reasons? Anybody that's got the colored hair?
a lot of them, yeah. I mean, and when I say a lot, you're upwards 80%, dude. I mean, now you've got some youngins that are out there dyeing their hair just because it's cool. They're trying to get back to 80s or punk rock days, and they don't understand the politics. Like, no kid that's younger than probably 20 years old, they don't really follow or, get into politics, really. They just kind of just go about their business.
But they think they're more active in the sense of they see the message that's political more than what we would have seen it at that age.
Probably. You're probably right. But that also adds in, they might not be politically involved, but that's something they can be politically involved in and look cool and different. But it's not so different today. There's a lot out there.
Well, in my teens, in my 18s...
You ever dye your hair?
Just frosted tips,
Cool.
I'm thinking about redoing it.
Yeah, I like that.
But I don't know if that's
Give
going
it
to...
10 years. It'll come back.
I don't know if that's going to put me in a...
Not frosted tits.
Tits.
Or tips. You can't I mean...
I just don't know if it's going to put me in the group to where... Not that I care. Not that I care. If somebody wants to come up to me and be like, hey, I got your safe space, right? I'd be like, sure. You can tell me about your job interview at Arby's.
It's not for you.
If I have my hair
Nope.
dyed, though, right?
No. It's not for you because you're white.
Yeah.
And you're a male.
Yeah.
So you're of the privileged group. You're the absolutely opposite of what I'm talking about. Being downtrodden and on the fringe of society. The when you take a percentage, the lower the percentage that you have, it means you're more downtrodden. So let's say you are a biracial Eskimo from Newfoundland. Okay,
how are you?
And now you're visiting. Right. Now
you
got
Newfoundland.
it.
Yeah.
And so now you're visiting the States as a job interview. You are fringe of fringe, so you are way different.
Right. Yeah, I would be there.
And downtrodden because you're so different. You're biracial Eskimo from Newfoundland in the United States to get a manager job at like a Holiday Inn Express.
Right. Yeah.
And so you really
But I don't
want
have any experience in it.
don't need it.
Okay. Well, I've only been an Eskimo.
For Holiday Inn, it'd be a great hire. But what the community of the color hair people and in support and solidarity,
Yeah.
they're behind you, but they know that the system's against you because you are one of probably 10 biracial Eskimos that live in
Newfoundland.
that were born in Newfoundland.
So
You're fringe of fringe.
Do you think that it's true then that if, say that I had worked at La Quinta Inn for
Sure,
7 years.
great little business.
Oh, I know. And I was manager, but oftentimes I'd have to be maintenance, and oftentimes I'd have to prepare the continental breakfast.
Now, you as you right now, that I'm looking at you,
You as
need,
me.
You need to be fired.
And,
You're
well,
fired.
there's a new job that comes up
Sure.
at Holiday Inn.
Okay.
And I've always loved their
Holiday
outfit.
Inn?
I've always loved it.
Yeah.
And I said, I got experience managing.
Yes.
I've had a very successful tenure at La Quinta.
Sure.
And
You were lucky. You were privileged to get that.
I was born in a Holiday Inn.
Yep.
And
you want to go back there.
And I want to feel like I'm part of the Holiday Inn family, and I'd really love the opportunity to accept this position as manager,
Yeah.
even though it's less money. Even though it's less money, that's how much I want
You
to
wanna
be
get
at
in
the
there.
Holiday Inn
Yeah.
family. And they'd say, well, thank you for your resume.
No, they won't even see that.
They just
Trash. Get out.
because they'd already hired the Eskimo.
Huh? Well, they're waiting for that. I mean, and right now they might have somebody from, India right now in that position, but they're looking to upgrade. If that Eskimo walked through, that biracial Eskimo from Newfoundland walked through any Holiday Inn Express, he or she could have any position they want to. Better if it's a she. So let's say, okay, let me back up. If you had two biracial people from Newfoundland, Eskimos from Newfoundland walk in through the door. One's male, one female. Female gets the job.
What if the
You are not
male
even a blip.
What if the male
Had experience.
is transgender?
Great point. That trumps everything.
That
and
trumps-
I don't want to say that word, but he stole that word from us, and I'm trying to take it back.
Yeah.
So forgive me. Obviously, then she, the other she, would get
Sure.
the job.
So experience. So the haircut is a
It's a plus.
reflection of your acceptance for these communities.
Yes. If you really are passionate about it, there's a lot of people that are in support and hold signs, go to rallies and things like that. And they might not color their hair because of certain, job requirements or something like that. But
Sure.
if, let's say you're in a...
But should that even be a restriction?
In a lot of places, it still is. And
those are what we're fighting against.
There's a lot of fight going on. So
Yeah.
if you're at, let's say,
a bank,
Bank
of America.
and they have some sort of dress code, which is so outdated. That's like,
Yep.
what are we in, like 2000?
Well, that makes it feel like you're in Nazi Germany.
Right.
Like, are you wearing the
Yeah.
right outfit?
Are you wearing all brown
Yeah,
with your armband?
Are you
Let's see your
SSing?
armband.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is ridiculous.
And most people that own banks are on the other side. So yeah, it is basically I wouldn't work for a bank. So
you couldn't. I mean, you couldn't do it in good conscience
No,
if your acceptance.
I could, because they only hire Nazis.
Yeah, they would if you tucked
So
your
they look at me and
hair
they're
in
like,
your hat, but
instantly
if they
say-
knew that you believed in the message of the downtrodden, I guess, or of the fringe style of living,
Yeah, but
maybe.
I'm still male and I'm still white. So even if I collared my hair and held up a sign in support of the downtrodden and the outskirts, they would still look at me and be like, "That's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's a Nazi that's dressed up and says that he's supporting to get in to do spy stuff,
Yeah.
and try to destroy it within. I can't be trusted, is what I'm saying, and I know that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what we'll do if I cut my hair today. Then
I'm trying to find a very tall set of stairs.
to fall down.
Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump just said that, or his son, Donald Trump Jr., that, they don't make them like her anymore. And I don't know what that means. You mean like women that marry ultra rich men and then divorce them and then live the remainder of their lives off of the alimony from the ultra rich. They make those. They're out there.
Not as much. Not as much as they used to be. Marriage, I don't know if you know this stat, marriage is down.
What?
And yeah, marriage is down across the board.
In the U.S. then? Or worldwide?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know about worldwide. I would say Europe for sure, and the United States for sure.
Yeah.
Women, they can't trust the majority of the population of the United States of America. Now, I know we're a melting pot, but
a great little restaurant if you like fondue.
and a great little band if you're back there. But they just can't trust. Now, if you come from a different country, if you're Indian, or if your heritage is something other than white, and I'll say white because you got Europe in there, you've got all of Russia in there, you got Newfoundland, Switzerland, Greenland, the United States, they're all white.
Norway,
throw that in there, sure. All the white people, which there's a lot, but if you're not that, then you're okay to be married. But the problem is, then you got a big population in jail, which you can still get married in jail, and you've got a lot of people that are already married, and you got a lot of people here that aren't really interested in marriage because they're trying to send money back home, you know what I mean, or whatever. So they're not interested in getting married, and so all these women, these poor women are and they're busy. They got something to take their mind off of being married and having any kind of relationship because they're fighting against all of this stuff right now.
Well,
and
it takes a lot
of time.
It is.
And plus, if you're calling your hair on the reg, and that, to come back to the point, ladies, we need to find together, and I can't speak because of who I am, but I think for your hair safety, come up with something else. Maybe a sign or a shirt or pants or something that just cues everybody in. And I don't know why it has to be so secret. I don't know why that's a secret. That only the very few know that if you color your hair, you're an ally.
Who told you that?
It's kind of public knowledge now because it's been going on for a while.
See, I didn't put two and two together. I thought, when I was, because I had George W. Bush as my president during my teens.
Oh, that's back in the...
Yeah, so he was elected
days.
in the year 2000, and at that time, I was like a freshman in high school.
Right.
And so that's like my formative age. I had not even really experienced much of puberty at that point.
What'd your hair look like back
And that's when within freshman, sophomore, you're learning to drive. You're learning the birds and the bees by, going out there and
sure are.
trying things. And you have this dork president that is teaching you this that's your leader.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no scandal really other than him doing the cocaine when he was in the Army or whatever, the Navy pilot or whatever. And so you didn't have any cool, like kids during the Obama, you got a cool guy. Plays basketball, smokes drugs.
Sure.
Is
kind of from Kansas, but kind of
from Hawaii.
And
maybe,
kind of.
Maybe not. And
pretty much, Irish. Because he hung out in Ireland a couple times.
Then you got Clinton before me, your era, where that guy's getting a snarling, he's married, but he's getting an Alabama snarling underneath, the Oval Office, and still playing cool with it, being like, yeah, this happened, it's not real, it's all a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, but I think you think that I'm younger than I am because I was born in the Carter administration. Right.
Well, I'm not saying when I was born.
Oh.
I'm saying during your formative.
Sure. I would be probably Clinton.
Yeah.
Or Papa Bush.
Papa Bush, and then maybe early Clinton is when you were in that.
I mean, I remember Reagan.
That's
I kind of went through
years.
that. I was probably 10, 11, 12 when Reagan.
So 92 is when Clinton got elected.
Yeah.
So you're right as senior. I mean, right in that.
No, I was just starting high school. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your guy.
Yeah.
You got a Clinton, which is a cool guy.
Super cool.
So as in the sense of that's
Played
who's your leader.
saxophone.
Goes on Arsenio Hall. Does all the stuff.
Pass that bill that 3 strikes and you're out, no matter what kind you have in.
But I think what's so weird is, like,
he was the hardest on drugs, my buddy. Clinton was. He was a
He
hard
did them, but he didn't let you do them. You know what I mean? He
right.
was
No,
cool.
he was doing them, and that's what made him cool, but he wouldn't allow anybody else to do it. That's why
Yeah.
there's so many people in jail right now, still,
Yeah.
for like an ounce of weed or something.
But I think that by you having Clinton as the leader, that showed you didn't
How to
know it
live.
subconsciously. It showed you like this is the leader doing this stuff.
This is the way you do it.
And then when I get to my years, I got, W dude, and he's a great painter. But you didn't know that at the time. He's pretty much like he's a missionary. You're trying to explore you're taking your cues from your leader.
Right.
And this guy's Mr. Missionary.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, what is love? What is all
Baby,
these things?
don't hurt me.
And
Don't hurt me.
I got one guy. For 8 years, I
Yeah.
got this dork getting shoes thrown at him, and
Sure.
there's no misconduct
Well,
going
that's
on
a learning
sexually.
experience.
It's great.
Right there, you can dodge stuff that's getting thrown at you,
His
bud.
favorite sport's baseball. That's gone, dude. It's
Yeah.
that's been gone since League of Their Own. It's been gone. When women were doing it, it was great. And then,
Remember we went to that one game with Alan?
oh yeah, when him and Alan went there and they were sharing hot dogs and
Hot
nachos.
dogs. Yeah, that was cool.
And he's been cool post presidency. He gets in a lot of sex clubs and stuff, but
Tons.
before, and then you got Obama with the generation after me.
Awesome.
So it's the coolest.
Super
Dribble
cool.
between your legs,
Yep.
and you can do slam poetry when you're doing a speech, and you can go to the White House
Smoke a
Correspondents'
huge
Dinner.
spliff with
Yeah, smoke a spliff in the Oval Office now, and it's fine,
Sure,
even though
bud.
it's illegal. And then all of a sudden, Trump, who you might say is like the Fonzie of the presidency.
you mean the devil?
Yeah, but I mean the bad Fonzie, because
Oh yeah.
there was a good Fonzie and a bad
And a
Fonzie.
bad Fonzie for a couple seasons.
For a
I
couple
think, yeah.
seasons, and he was the bad Fonzie. And he would, he got in trouble for talking to Billy Bush about grabbing women by. He had all
Yep.
kinds of. He's
kinds
been
of-
divorced and remarried 800
Yeah.
times.
Well, he pushed his first wife down the stairs.
And ultimately, marries transgender, never talks about
Never
it,
talk about it.
never brings it up,
Never brings it up.
and all of a sudden, you got the purple hair and you got the people in the hats, and genital hats.
As a big response to, you can't push that, not here, not in our America. And so people had to do something. It's not just all writing, signs and going and burning down cities, bud. You gotta be a shiny beacon of being an ally, and they figured it out. Now this might have snuck under your nose, but now I don't know if everybody's growing out of it. I'm just saying that I feel bad that they got tricked into Big Pharma because they own all the hair dye. They own it all.
Yeah,
Just for men, they even own the little stuff for
Garnier Fructose,
the Fructose,
L'Oreal.
L'Oreal, Mane and Tail
They've owned that
forever.
forever.
Afro
Sheen, Pert Plus, both Perts, Disney
Head and
Plus.
Shoulders, which is still out there. They own not only all hair products, but definitely all of the hair dye. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, not from my own experience, but from the women that I've known that's dyed their hair since it started. It's thinning, and there's one thing that women hate more than having bad looking nails and bad looking shoes.
It's thin hair.
Hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
It's
you got
thin
bad
hair.
looking hair, if it thins out, you want a thick. Doesn't matter if it's curly. Doesn't matter if it's straight. Doesn't matter if it's short, long. Doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
got to be thick, at least normal thick.
You want to hate your hair, but have
do.
other women go, "I wish I had."
I wish
your
I
hair."
had that hair.
Yeah, that's what you want.
But
as a
you know
woman.
what? The women right now wish they had the hair. It's all colored hair, but you wait. When they're about
It's gonna be a
40 or 50,
just a slew of alopecia.
there's just gonna be patches. You know
Right.
what I mean? And not the good kind, but it's gonna be little tufts of hair that's gonna be left. Now it's gonna be bright, multicolored maybe,
Yeah.
but where are you at? And maybe that's the new fashion trends we need to set. It's just shave it off. For women.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that Will Smith was on the forefront of that,
He was.
and I think that someday
You get his name out of your mouth.
you'll look back on the incident at the Oscars where that happened, where he slapped Chris Rock. You're going to look at that as that was a seminal moment in our history.
Yep.
Because that was the first pushback against
Right.
people who are going to be hating
That's
on
right.
all these women who will lose their hair from
That will be
dyeing
bald,
it. There's going to be
right.
so many bald women out
And
there.
the only thing that Chris Rock can do in solidarity is chop off all his hair and go bald and feel what it's like to be losing your hair fighting this fight, and maybe understand how it is to have alpaca.
And it's a damn disease.
Alpaca disease.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm with Will Smith. I've stood by
Me
him
too.
since the beginning. This is
Ever since he ran around with that little Chinese guy jumping trains,
sure.
I was in. Do you know what I mean? Ever since he was on that Western with that little guy,
Yeah.
I was right in there. That's before the Men in Blackos, you know. And
I was in
when he was in Looney
when he
Tunes.
released Big Willie Style, a single track on a CD.
Yeah,
And
I had it on cassette.
and I put that CD into my
I had it on cassette.
Oh, put it in
Yep.
Big Willie Style.
Glue it in there.
Glue it in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't
Don't
matter.
care.
Tape the outside of the CD changer.
So I think we could take a lot of allies aren't so upfront
No.
like Will.
no.
They are there, but in support. We got to find something else for the ladies. Not that I need to make the decision.
Just to save their hair.
Just to save their hair.
Yeah.
They're going to feel better about themselves and about the world when you've got your nails did and you got a fresh pair of kicks. You know, you're stepping out of your sweet whip and you got a frock of hair in whatever design you want, bud.
Yeah.
That makes later in life, when you don't have much to look forward to other than going to the beauty shop, it makes it, so much better for older ladies. 'Cause, you know about older ladies. What do?
Fall downstairs.
They do two things: fall downstairs and get their hair did.
Yeah.
They get it blown out.
And a lot of times they'll be putting some fake hair in there. It's heavy.
They're going to have to, and I
And
think
that's how they fall.
right.
The
Now,
hair did it.
If I was a stupid capitalist, okay,
Don't even.
Okay.
Really, don't even put yourself in that scenario.
if I was, then
Don't do this. Don't go down this road.
I'm just saying, if I was.
Okay.
I would be getting into the wig game right now because I don't see these ladies lightening up on their tone, on their hair tone. Now, I love it. It's loud and bright, but you got to be safe with it. They're using just horrible chemicals. And let me tell you this. It's destroying the atmosphere. They're washing it down. Guess where it goes? It ends up in our ocean. It's killing our
It's in our drinking water.
It's in our drinking water. It's
Yeah.
in our blackfin tuna.
Yep.
You can't go get a sushi roll or a nice California or Oklahoma roll without cutting it in and tasting hair product.
Yep. And that's why we're opening up Wigwama Mama.
Now
It
it's
is
affecting everybody. I mean, it's affecting everybody, but
Native American style wigs.
I'm not worried about everybody. I'm worried about those ladies with that hair is going to fall out. They've got to be noticing. Comb your hair, ladies. See how much is coming out already.
Do a comb over.
One dye is too much.
Yeah. I
So-
lost a lot of my hair from frosted tipping.
You know,
And that was just a little bit.
Two things. Scientists, I'm talking right to you. I'm hooking my peepers. Look, I'm going to take my glasses off. That means I'm serious. I'm hooking my peepers right there, and I'm going to tell you this.
Do this.
Come up with a better hair dye. You know? Now, I mean, it used to be back in my day, the ladies, mostly, some dudes, would mix up a batch of Kool-Aid. But before you put the Kool-Aid in your hair, you got to use peroxide, and that's what's killing the fish. You get your collar out, you go out in the sun, and you put that peroxide in there, and you put the little dome cap on. You get out there in the sun, and it really bleaches your hair out in order to absorb the color. Well, Kool-Aid, we can dump that down the drain. That's
Yeah.
no big deal. But how do we get the color out of our hair? Peroxide, and that's what's killing the fish.
Yep.
And that's also what's killing your hair. So I'm really worried about it, bud. That's something I'm really worried about.
Yeah, I am too, dude. I didn't even think of it that way. I was more worried about Donald Trump Jr. running for president, but I didn't even put how the relationship between that happening, that horrific thing happening,
Sure.
and hair.
I'm going to tell you this right
There's
now.
a direct line.
I'll tell you right now. If he gets elected, there is no fish in the ocean.
Yep, chop your
They're
head
all
off.
they're all dead, because I tell you what, if the ladies keep going on like they're going,
Yeah.
and that crazy Donald Jr., if he wins the election, or that crazy guy down there in Florida, or if Papa Donald comes back and gets the election, we ain't gonna have fish. Long John Silver's is gone, and then you're gonna have a lot of ladies that when they're 50, getting ready to retire, they're at their fourth job, trying to get a job at Arby's or at at La Quinta Inn,
Yeah.
the small one outside of town that no one goes to. They're going to try to get the job there. They're going to be bald,
Yeah. Guys, they're going to be bald.
and there's not going to be any fish to eat. So if that's the world you want to live in, God bless you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Keep
not
voting.
trying.
Keep voting then.
You vote. Get
Keep
out and
voting.
vote. Register.
Yes.
Register if you haven't already. And if you've registered as independent, you're wasting your whole life. Pick a side and pick the right one.
Yep.
If
know
you
which
know what
side
I
to
mean.
pick.
You know.
You know.
You know. I'm not going to say it.
You know, though.
I'm not going to say it.
What do you think of time travel?
It's bullshit. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, okay. The only reason I bring it up, and it kind of relates to all this, it directly relates. If you remember, a couple months ago, there was a new movie getting released in theaters.
Yeah.
Big premiere. It's called Lightyear, about Buzz Lightyear. So it's a Disney Pixar movie
Right.
off of an offshoot of Toy Story.
Not Batgirl.
Not-
That got nixed.
They got nixed.
Okay.
Richard nixed on that. But Lightyear all of a sudden got all this pushback from the conservative side.
Oh, I hate that side.
Yes, the conservative side pushed back on this film
Yeah.
because within the film there is, and I just watched it. I've actually watched it twice now, and there's a lot of stuff I'm still learning.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Because you're in support.
it was a great film.
Yeah,
I will
you're
give
in
it that.
solidarity.
I will say, dude, we gotta kind of I saw the part that the conservatives were angry about.
When they changed his costume.
What happened is, so Buzz Lightyear's a space ranger. He's with another space ranger. They're on a ship. Ship goes down on this weird planet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. There's no fuel cell. They got to start a new base and refine their own materials and create their own base on this planet that has nothing on it. They had to start from scratch on
Wow.
everything to
Wow.
try to discover a new
Wow.
fuel to get their ship back up and going.
Wow.
And in order to get the right fuel, they have to know that it can reach hyperspeed or something, right?
Yeah.
So they keep trying this fuel. So what they do is we made this, and they put it in the ship. Buzz gets in there, zips off, doesn't reach hyperspeed, but he does go around this. He's going so fast that he's time traveling. So when he gets back, it's been 10 minutes for Buzz. It's been 4 years for the people back on this planet. So each time he's coming back, it's growing and growing
Yeah.
and growing. And the woman that his captain that had crashed the ship with him,
He's getting older and older.
she, during this montage of him flying, marries a woman
Yeah.
and then apparently somehow has children,
Yeah.
probably like with a donation or
Well,
something.
it's a different planet. They can set it up however they want.
And then
Adoption works there.
gets older,
You know,
and then
honestly.
that's the only, you never see anything like there's no family life situation.
Yep.
They have a granddaughter. Granddaughter ends up being the one that is hanging out with Buzz, which is like 100 years later.
Yeah.
Now she's 30, and she's the one that wants to help Buzz, and Buzz is still trying to get off this planet,
Right.
complete the mission, right? So I don't know what people were mad. Like, it was a little bit too far, I think, to push back against this movie
Yeah.
because watching it with two kids, they did notice like, hey, that's a lady, and then next scene it didn't matter because that woman died. I mean, eventually she died of hair loss or something.
Well, I'd be upset to watch that.
I
Why do
wasn't-
they have to kill off characters?
Why do they have
I
to?
think
They say why do they have to force in
I can't believe I
a
haven't
lesbian
seen it now.
relationship? But who cares?
I'll have to see. I'll have to see it then. Because
I didn't care. But what confused me was, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen this,
I haven't.
is,
You're already making me sad. I'm going to write a stern letter to Disney for killing off a love interest of Buzz's grandma.
well, she might be alive. I just know the grandma or the grandma lady died. That the lover might be alive. I don't know. They didn't show her again. You know what I mean? They cut out the whole family dynamic, really. They didn't even show the mom and dad of this granddaughter. They just showed
Wow.
grandma.
Yep.
They didn't show who she birthed, how.
How? Well, it's a new planet. Maybe
But what I'm confused
Test
is
tube, baby.
we all understand time travel in the way that Back to the Future taught us, basically.
the right way.
The correct way.
Yeah.
The Reagan way.
Yeah.
And so the way I understand it is, if you're moving in time so fast,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to here, and back here, it's been 100 years. Up here, it's only been a year.
Yeah.
So what had happened is Buzz had traveled so far. He did get the right fuel. Had traveled so far into the future that he got way up here, which is, 200 years further technology than
Sure,
this thing, right?
sure.
Well, when he was here, he built a time machine to go back. So now he goes back to the planet that Buzz is still on, trying to figure out. So now there's two Buzzes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Old
cool.
Buzz, who's way up here,
Yeah.
who spent 50 years in this time and then figured out how to go back in time to tell young Buzz, hey, I have this time machine.
Just build a time machine.
If we use this time machine, we can go back to here
Uh-oh.
and prevent this lesbianism from ever happening.
Right.
And then young Buzz was like, wait, if we go back here to where we won't fail our mission and crash on this planet,
Yeah.
then all these people that lived here for the 100 years, it's like their life meant nothing. That'll never exist.
For sure.
And there will be no lesbianism.
Nope. Or kids.
And
from
then
that.
old Buzz was like, yeah, they won't ever know, though, because they would have never lived it. Who cares? And so basically,
Good point.
you get to play God if you believe in God. And so, I won't spoil how it goes.
You
But
get to
that's
play- you get
that's
to-
the juxta. Do you...
You get to play Fauci.
You
know
get to
what
play
I mean?
Fauci. Your whole job, your whole existence is based on, are you the best space ranger?
Right.
Because if you are, then why'd you wreck back here?
Yeah.
And for the past, since you wrecked, all you've been trying to do is redeem your mistake back here where you wrecked.
Yeah, not wreck.
But now you invented something to where you can never have wrecked. It's right before then.
Yep.
You can complete the mission but then you don't know what does that future hold. You know what I mean?
It's a different path.
It's a totally different path. So it's interesting, dude. And it made me think of time travel differently.
Sure.
Because I always thought of it as, we get a time machine, we go back in time. Right?
Or forward, whichever.
But I think I would go back. Would you go forward? I hate where we're at now. You know what I mean? If you go forward, I feel like it's a continuation
Yeah.
of the path we're on.
It's only going to get worse.
But if you go back, now again, all this stuff that happened,
Yeah.
like you go back to 1920, because we're in a simulation, you're telling me from 1920 to the year 2000, everything was built. Ridiculous. And we didn't even have the immigrants we have now.
No.
We're getting more immigrants now than we've ever got.
Right. For sure.
And they're saying back in where we had like 2 or 3 a day,
Yep.
so you get like 150 immigrants a week
Maybe.
in the 1920s, maybe.
Maybe.
They come here, so you're saying that those people were able to build, like walk outside. When was this building built? 1927. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. There's like 50 people in New York in 1927.
Yeah.
They built the skyscraper, and that one, and that one, and that one, and all these
They
tunnels.
built them all. They were good at it back then.
It's some computer game. But you get back to there, and you can stop the program, dude. You can go to 1920, go to New York, wear your knickers. Sorry.
Sure.
Wear your John Payne Stewart golf pants.
Yep.
And your driving cap.
Bring some hooch.
And then have arguments about, like, I don't trust a vehicle. I'd rather ride a horse.
Yep.
Like, I want to have fist fights. I want to put up my dukes in the 1920s
Yeah.
streets.
And drink some of that bathtub gin.
I want to beat up Henry Ford, What do you got
I think
going
at that
on
time,
here,
yeah, at that
Mr.
time,
wooden steering wheel.
you wouldn't be in New York with Ford because he was down there in Argentina making all his tires in the 20s, buddy. So he wasn't even in New York.
I'd be waiting for him in New York because he'll come up there to try to get money.
He'll come up there.
Yeah.
He'll come up there, but he was building his rubber plant down there with the rubber plants and doing the tires at that
I think
time.
the 1920s is where, because then you can stop World War II. You get World War I out of the way.
Get it out
that
of the way.
had to happen.
That had to happen.
Okay.
All the bad people got nixed. Or a lot of bad people got
Yeah.
nixed in that.
World
a lot
War
of good people
II,
too, but
we know what's going to happen already.
Yeah.
So all we do is send like a fax or an email but back then style, which
Sure.
means put it on a pigeon.
Telegraph.
Or
Beep, 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 beep,
walk
beep,
over
beep,
and,
beep, beep.
hey, she, I think
Yep.
something's happening
Or
over
the
here.
or the air walkers, the air speakers. They didn't come until later.
That's during World
Yeah,
War II.
during World War II.
So
the
if I
Enigma
walked
machine.
into, Pentagon was open for the public back then.
Yep, you can walk right in.
So I walk into the Pentagon, there's 17 men,
Hi.
working
Yep,
there.
Yep.
They're all drunk because they drink brandy all day.
Sure, 'cause it's against the law.
And I open up a map and I say, look at this.
Yep.
And they're like, what the heck is that?
What is that?
First of all, it's a map.
Yep.
They're like, holy
So
smokes.
it's called a map.
Well, what is all this crap?
Right.
Because in their mind, the map was America, that's it,
That's it.
and then Europe. Like,
Everything.
just
Just everything else.
yeah, but it was
Yeah.
all a mush. Just
Sure.
Europe is this stuff. They didn't know, they didn't know Denmark. They didn't know any of that stuff. They
Yeah.
didn't know Africa. They
Well,
didn't know.
because Titanic didn't make it, bud.
Yeah.
Had Titanic made it across the pond, we might have known more stuff.
So I open a new map, like from this. That's what I bring, and I say,
Yep.
look at this.
Look.
I'm like, holy, what is this?
Look at
I'm like,
that.
that's Japan.
What?
I'm like, they're gonna.
Well, that's where the samurais are.
Yeah.
I've
I say,
read
guess
books.
what? They're building planes right now.
What?
To bomb us.
No.
They're
Wrong.
gonna, and they can't put bombs on them.
Sure.
But they are human bombs.
What?
Yeah, they're human bombs. They'll fly these planes directly into whatever.
Come on, let's
Yeah.
go get a sandwich. I'll ride my horse.
And I'd give
I don't
another
trust-
drink.
I don't trust you. What are you from? What are you, Buzz Lightyear? You from the
I could
future?
stop World War II.
A lot of people say that don't even let it get to that point. Just go back a little bit further and just nix
Both World Wars?
Hitler's mom and pa. Just nix it. Nixon. Now, a lot of people say, well, if he wasn't around, then there'd been somebody else that filled that void. And again, it could have been worse. Because if you killed him, but I don't know anybody that would say it wouldn't be worth the risk. You know what I mean? Because you open up your pathway, you open a pathway, you kill Hitler, who's taking his place, dude?
That's a good point.
What's a good German name?
What if you just brought TV? And you wouldn't have
Just take
satellites or any way to watch it. You could. I think they had power, maybe.
Dude, okay.
What if you brought TV and VCR?
Yeah.
And you just brought Everybody Loves Raymond or a good show like that, a wholesome show.
It would be peace.
And
on
then,
Earth.
because the problem with frickin' Hitler is he wrote this book, right?
Yeah, that no one can get.
No one can get now, but back then, it's like, what are you doing
against the
tonight?
law.
There's only 7 books. I guess
Right.
I'll read this one by Adolf
Right.
Hitler.
Yeah.
You read this. You just read because there's no TV.
There's no TV.
Bring a TV, so people can't read that stupid book. Because
Yeah.
somebody be like, "Hey, do you want to read this tonight?" No, I'm watching Everybody Loves Raymond tonight.
Sure.
I don't understand. It's from the future. I don't know. It's weird. There's got like some weird. Look at this guy dressed like a cop. What is this? A cop?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know what any of that is. What is this? A sports writer?
You know what? Instead of bringing a TV, what if you can go back in time,
Yeah.
take your phone with you at the very first start of electricity, because plugs haven't changed in 300 years.
Right.
So you take your phone and your phone charger, maybe a couple extras,
Yeah, I'd need an
because the
extra.
chargers these days are crap. So you buy a few of those. You're gonna get electricity when you get in there.
Sure.
You can find some sort of wall outlet, maybe. But your pocket computer, your phone, is still hooked up to the satellites of today. So you're still getting all of the information you're going to get, all the TikTok videos,
Yes.
all of the
Yeah.
important stuff that
Twerking nurses.
twerking nurses,
Sure.
all of those videos you get to watch in the 20s or however late you went back. Then you can figure out, dude, you got Google, you got any search engine, you can Bing it.
Yeah.
You can ask Jeeves, what's the stock of the day? Like back in this day in the 20s, what went up?
It's probably just Carnegie, Steel,
Yeah.
You know.
Railroad.
Rockefeller.
Yep. Center.
Yeah. Before the clothing.
Ford.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then you just you take gold, which is worth a lot of money now,
It's everywhere then.
and it's everywhere. Then it was only worth $2.
Yeah.
And then that's your big gain. You just buy as much gold as you possibly can. Now the problem is it's heavy, so you got to watch your time machine, because I'm sure it's got a weight limit.
Yeah.
But then you could find out anything you wanted to do. You could bet on baseball games. That was back when,
See, but so you would use it to become wealthy in the future. You think?
you can, but you could also use it
Because that's
to
a real
see-
capitalist thing to say.
No, I wouldn't use it to be, but I would donate it all to charity for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I would change history. I would take out anybody involved in, Trump or Hitler, and then I'd make a lot of money and then just give it to charities like Babe Ruth did. But here's something else that I would do for kind of my time, because you have to spend a little bit of time for yourself for self-care.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, when did I know the Big Bambino hit like 7 dingers in one game, and I know it's pretty close. I'd go watch that game. That'd be kind of fun.
I know what
Now,
I
would I have money on it? Yeah, I'd have money on it, but I'd be watching it.
I think that what I would do is, because we think about this, you got to remember, you're just a guy. You're just a human.
Just a guy.
You don't get to go back and be a god.
Nope.
So what if you went back, and if you remember, when movies first started, from 1920 to 1960,
Was the best.
they didn't even talk.
Nope.
They didn't even talk.
It was black and white.
It's all black and white. These
Yep.
were garbage, yet we're like, this is where it started. It started at nothing.
In trash.
Started in trash.
Trashville.
And I think that if you went back and I presented a script of a down-and-out Philadelphia boxer
Yeah.
who's in love with a pet store worker who
That has 2 turtles.
that has turtles and that lives with her brother, a drunk brother.
Yeah.
And, I'm in the little dive bars fighting Spider Rico and
Sure.
barely hanging on. And I go to the gym and my gym manager, he's like, we got a new up-and-comer. You're out of here. And I go by the name Rocky. You're out of here, Rocky. You're out of here, Rock. You're on the, hit the bricks. You're on the
Right.
hanger.
Right.
You're on the hanger. It's like, you can't do that to me, Mick. And I write all this dialogue, and I make Rocky.
Back then.
I make Rocky, the first Rocky. Same movie, but I'm acting. Mick's still there. He was alive.
He was alive.
I can get all the same actors.
Well, not in the 20s.
I get Mick.
Mick would be like 10.
I get Mick there.
Yeah.
Mick was probably older than the 20s. He's probably born in, I think, 1830. So you get Mick, a good Mick. You would have to find a different Jewish woman to be
Yeah.
Adrian.
That's easy.
They're everywhere.
Because that's before
they're everywhere.
That's before the war started.
Yeah, so
So
they're a
thick.
problem. They're a problem.
They're thick.
So I get a beautiful.
Well, and good luck finding an Apollo.
Mm.
So that's difficult.
I can cheaper.
But the 20s was okay for blackface.
That's right. I can make my own Apollo.
You get Al Jolson.
Have Al Jolson there. I make Rocky. Now, because if look at what Rocky has done. Look at what Sylvester Stallone has done.
Sure.
He creates Rocky. He's
Yeah.
nothing.
No.
Sylvester Stallone. It's not like people were walking around saying Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
They were walking around saying nothing. They didn't have any idea what a sports movie was.
No.
Any idea of what boxing was. Any idea of who this man was.
Right.
He writes this screenplay. He directs it. He shoots it. He's got his brother doing the musical score.
Right.
It shouldn't have been anything. Yet, it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, phenomenon.
And he takes this one film. He didn't give up like all the people in the 20s that
Nope.
made movies. People
Well-
in the 20s made movies and then they're like, was it good? It's like,
Sure.
no, it wasn't.
It was horrible.
And they might make 2 or 3 more. Who cares?
Yeah, well, and back then you'd lose actors because they did all their own stunts. But guess who also did all their own stunts?
Sylvester
Rocky.
Stallone.
You'd have to do all
I would
your
do
own
them
stuff,
because I
that's
could
fine.
fight back,
Yeah, right. You could fight a 20s.
I could fight a 20s man.
They're 3 foot nothing.
Oh, I got
weigh
creatine. I'm clanging
Yeah.
and banging. They don't even know what weights are. So I'm beating up all these Al Jolson types.
Yeah.
I'm creating the greatest movie that's ever been
Right.
produced. Now all of a sudden,
You're
look at
fighting against segregation. That's one thing
that's
you're doing.
one thing I'm doing. I'm fighting against the opponent who is segregation.
Yep.
And I create the movie. Now all of a sudden, there's a picture of me on the steps of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? With my hands in the air.
Well, for a while. I mean, they tore that statue down.
Just recently.
Yeah,
Just recently.
well, what I'm saying, I mean, you have until now. Now, maybe it's a better movie because it came out earlier, and so they leave it up. I don't know, but my guess is
it might eventually get to be
you'd be
problematic.
Yeah, you get torn down in the 70s, bud. I mean, 70s were kind of cool. Everybody, did their own thing. That's when Times Square was awesome. That was like the best,
But look at what he's done since that movie. All he's done,
everything.
he parlayed that movie into a 7-8 part movie series.
Yeah.
Each one bigger than the last.
Yeah.
And then
He was in
the
Terminator.
middle of it, he's like, guess what? I'll be John Rambo. I'll be a man who goes against the United States military.
Yeah.
And then solves the problem with just a bow and arrow.
Right. Come out, John. We'll talk about this.
And his flaming arrow. He used the he brought back the flaming arrow. Goes John Rambo. Then he goes expendable. He's created 3 or 4 multi-billion-dollar
trillion-dollar
franchises.
$1 trillion with a T. That's a lot of money.
And now he's zipping around, and sure, he's got a kind of an inappropriate relationship with his daughters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Where
and his turtles.
He kisses him
be
and
honest,
stuff.
yeah.
It's a weird kiss. But he doesn't, he's Sly now. He goes by Sly. 3 letters. NSA, CSI, SLY, baby.
Yep.
Sly.
CBS.
QVC, NBC, ABC,
FBI, CIA.
NSA, SLY, Sly. He's as big as all those organizations.
Sting. No, that's 4 letters. Sorry. He's out.
Sylvester Stallone took one movie and then created a brand that's bigger than the CIA, that's
Right.
bigger than the FBI,
Yeah.
that's bigger than the NSA,
ABC.
it's bigger than ABC,
CNN.
bigger than CNN,
FOX.
bigger than FOX. It's SLY. It's Sly. And so you go back and it's like, I'm going to invest in this. Invest in being Sylvester Stallone. He's
Good
got
idea.
more money than any country
Yeah,
in the world. He's definitely got more liquid cash than the United States.
sure. MI6. Now, that has numbers in it, but it's still 3.
It's still 3.
Yeah.
And it's always the mark of 3, dude.
Yep.
I'd either do that or I'd start the Freemasons.
Oh, figure out what their thing is. Change 33. Change the Larry Bird, the level 33 to like level 34.
Yeah.
You have to get, the super ultra.
I think that's what I would do.
That'd be kind of cool.
And I don't know, people.
I wouldn't go back that far. I would go back. I'd go back to where I would give a better life to people like, like Dennis Rodman that had a really bad upbringing. And you could say, well, if you change that, he might not be that big of a basketball star. No, dude, he'd be bigger. And I know it's hard to get bigger than Dennis Rodman. I mean, you got what? Dennis Rodman, MJ. So you're like one step.
Well, if you rank them,
Maybe throw Pippen in
D-Rod.
there. But Pippen is weird. He's money hungry. He's got more money than, he's got about half as money as Stallone, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And he's still
angry.
He's still suing like his neighbors for stepping on his grass or something,
Yeah.
And so he kind of got weird. But, one person didn't get weird is Rodman, and he had a bad go at it there early. Got into basketball late, so I would like to go back there, maybe some of these sports stars and actors and actresses, that had a really bad time in their childhood and give them a better life,
Yeah.
Drew
What about-
Barrymore.
No,
That
that's
comes
a
to mind.
perfect example.
Great example. She had a horrible childhood, got hooked on cocaine at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman.
right
I
after
could have stopped
E.T.
all of Corey Feldman's rapes.
Yeah, you could have.
Joaquin Phoenix would still be walking around, which is a great actor. And I'm telling you what, I mean, I could have saved the dude that played the first Crow.
You're talking about Bruce Lee's boy?
Bruce Lee. Brandon Lee. I could have saved him.
Yeah.
I could have saved him. I could have went on the set of that one with just here recently. Out there,
with Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin, and said, Alec, it's loaded with live bullets. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but he
could've
didn't pull the trigger, except for he did. They said that today.
not. Oh, did he?
Well, they said that he might not have meant to,
listen,
but there's
dude,
no way he can
that's
shoot it
something
without
he
pulling
has
it.
to live with, and he's
Forever.
living fine. He's living fine.
Yeah.
But I hate that for him.
I do too.
To have to live with that kind of an accident. I don't know what that was. That was spooky.
Could have been
Spooky.
Alec.
Spooky, right? What is that, dude?
I don't know.
Is some sort of rabbit?
It's close.
It's very close. It's like under the truck or something. Sounds like some sort of feral rabbit or cat or something. I don't know. Squirrel? There's not much squirrels here.
Could be anything.
Raccoon?
I've never. It's sounded
It's
more
a baby.
bird-like.
Oh, is it a bird?
Could be a baby bird.
Falcon.
Baby falcon. Falcon?
Dude, I have to look.
Some half-eaten animal. Or cat? What is it? See it?
It's a cat. It's in the trailer.
It's in the
We
trailer?
got a cat in the trailer, but
Got a cat in the trailer, guys.
I don't know why we have a cat in the trailer. We got a cat in the trailer. It's right here. I'm gonna open this thing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's on the ground, bud. Just moved on the ground. No, that's a snake. It's a snake. You were just right by a snake.
What?
You see that snake?
Yeah, but that's not what's making the noise.
Is it eating a mouse? That's a snake.
Oh, it's eating a frog, bud.
That's a freaking snake, dog.
Snake's eating frog, dog.
Oh my god.
Turn it off. You didn't turn it off.
No. That's nature, everybody. That's nature. It's a frog getting eaten. It's a balance of nature, dude. That's a gummy.
That's a gummy, dude. It's the balance of nature. I mean, we're out here in nature. You know, we got the trailer right here, and it sounds like some sort of frog found a little bit of shade under the trailer, and guess what? Also found the shade a snake. So we got a snake eating a frog, and the frog noises you're hearing is the death throes of some sort of frog, not toad, frog. Oklahoma podcast guy.
It's disgusting, dude.
Well, the bad thing is the snake only has like one leg in its mouth. So we're going to hear that for the next 2 hours of a frog trying to get out of the snake's mouth. Now, sure, I can go kill a snake.
But the frog's already dead, bud.
Well, the
It's venom.
frog's gonna be missing an arm. That's not a venomous snake.
That's a venomous snake.
No, no, it's not.
Dude, it's got a yellow stripe. Yellow means venom.
No, that's not right. Don't listen to that. Now, if I had the dogs out here, I'd have a dead frog and snake.
We'll have to let him out very soon. Can't have too many snakes by the trailer, dude. We're gonna get in there. There'll be a snake
Listen,
in the trailer.
just good luck on your time machine travels, and if you build one, let me know. I would
What
like
are we
to
having
be.
for lunch today? This is a food podcast. We have to talk about what's
Yeah,
for lunch
that's
today.
true. What's for lunch? It depends on where we're going.
Yes.
So if we got to go to Walmart, but we can go to Chandler or Shawnee. It's our pick.
What are we getting at Walmart? For sure.
A drone, dude.
We're droning for our
I'm
special.
gonna get a drone.
I don't give a shit what Joe Rogan has ever done. What?
He's never had a snake.
He's
eating
never
a
had
frog.
a snake eating a frog behind him
Should
while
you
they're
take
doing
your,
a show.
You want to take your camera over there and show everybody?
It's a good idea.
Just so you know. Don't get close now. Don't get bit.
It's venomous.
It's not venomous. It's just a regular snake now. I'm gonna take you with us. Come over here. Nature. Got to experience it firsthand.
Okay, we're gonna walk over.
Yeah, it's right under the. I stepped right over it. I
were,
can't
like,
believe I
laying
did.
on it.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't get dead.
It's curled. It's still
Yeah,
there.
see it right there. See it right under the box.
I don't know if I can
You put it in there.
get a good look at him moving around.
Oh yeah. See, look now the frog's all the way in the snake's mouth. See the snake mouth right there?
I don't know if I'm getting a good.
Let me get a stick here. I got a stick.
Oh, man. Now do we see it? Guys, this is nature, okay? Wow. We've done it.
We done did it. We did
I
it.
don't know if we
I don't know.
flipped it. We might have flipped you over there. So anyways, we're going to go eat lunch. We'll let you know what it was.
Let's have snake.
With that being said,
Have an okay day.